All right, welcome everybody. It is October 3rd, time for some Halloween. You know, if we if we can go trick or treating, right? I'm in California. I think they made it illegal to go trick or treating, but anyway, so for those that don't know, I'm just going to put this on the recording. What we're trying to do is every Saturday, I come in and go through other people's watch lists, their ideas, and we kind of go over them. And we've just gone through a Knott's, and we did a couple of Paul's and one of Paco's, Francisco, and so we're going to jump onto mine now. And a lot of mine are the same as everybody else's that we already went over. So what I'm going to do is, what I do, guys, is I create symbols that I like and I put them in TPS for the week. And then I put in my favorites charts that I like, that I want to watch to possibly add to the TPS or just play as a technical play. All right. So DE, I don't know if any of you guys stripped this with me or not last week, but man, it worked out great. It was a wonderful strip play. Per the stats, if you look at last week's watch list, the stats for it afterwards were just strictly positive. And so this is a combo play for me, right? We've got the dividend strip, we've got the stats, and we've got the squeeze. I love it. You can't get it in up here, right? You're chasing, but I have an alert set. Let me see if I can. What I do is I'll come over here and I'll say alert, set alert, condition, alert name. I want to know when this hits the 8 EMA on the daily. And so I just put in alert, price cross down to 8 EMA. I'm actually going to change it to the 9. I want it to dip just inside to give me another good buying opportunity. And that's going to be my alert for the week for DE. Now, the way that I will play this is the same way that you guys saw a Knott's plays. I would expect some profit taking, some sell off, some pullback. If we hit the 8 and I get in, that's fine. I'll be looking to add closer to the 21, right? So I farm, I buy dips, I sell rips. I add the piece that I sold back on a dip. This allows you to have some leeway, and you don't have to get in a full position. Just get in. I don't know what size accounts you guys are playing with, but if you're playing with a smaller account, get a max of 3 contracts. You know what I mean? Buy 1, 2, and then 3. Yeah, exactly. And Cat is on here as well. I'm in both. So let's pull it back to, so that's DE. That's what I'm going to be looking for on DE. On Cat, that's the next chart, ironically. Same idea. Okay, we talked about this one a little bit earlier. I'm going to farm this. You've got a Momo shift. You got a daily squeeze. These are the lines that we're looking at. Paul very astutely said, hey, he's got an alert at 147.61. You know what, Paul? I'm going to follow you. Set alert. Follow Paul. Get long. There we go. It's set. But I'm also going to set another alert because I want to know if this hits. Let's say it keeps climbing and we hit the 21. I want to know it. So I'm going to set an alert. Are you at 145? If you guys buy above me, then it'll go without me. That's funny. So my position or not, like originally, was here, right here. But you're waiting at 145. Yeah, yeah, much safer play, and there's no doubt it could easily get down there, right? But the strength that came into this on this day, it kind of again, I always go back to sports. You'll go through streaks of, the team may go on a 10-0 run, and you can't figure out how to score, and you can't figure out how to stop them, and you're down. And that reminds me of this day. But then all of a sudden, you get this third win, you get this energy boost, and you're starting to shut them down and score like crazy. Well, that's what I got on this day, right? And so I'm kind of pumped about it. So I'm willing to say, you know what? I'm willing to get in here versus wait for the pullback. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Paul and everybody is playing it perfectly. They're saying, you know what? We're going to get a starter position here. And if it pulls back to the 34 EMA, here, I'll throw this on there. He's saying this is where I am looking to add to my position, right around that same area. So you guys see how it always matches up that way. What I'll do is let me save this chart. That way it'll keep the 34 on there. All right. Now McDonald's. The reason I like McDonald's is because the market hasn't really affected it that much. So if you look at the SPY and you look at the QQQ and you look at McDonald's, you see the divergence here. We've held up pretty nicely. We bounced off of this flag level, and now we're trying to set up legs to break up here, right? So you know how I always say we want a double top, break, triple top, right? So what I'm looking for is, this. Geez, it's big. What I'm looking for now is some consolidation to hit a trip top and then triple top breakthrough, right? Reject off that double top and then have the triple top breakthrough. That's how I'm playing this. Just use your daily rules and know that you also have a 2 hour that you can play to get in as well on a shorter time frame. So that's how I'm looking to play McDonald's. FedEx actually got out of on Friday. I got in either here or here. I got in. I think it was on the gap fills when I got in, looking for a bounce, and I was farming, but I cleared out the position. I'm no longer in FedEx, so I'm looking to get back into it. So Paul, I'm currently in McDonald's. Had an awesome move on Friday. Yeah, it did. It really did. Awesome move, Paul. So I'm looking to play FedEx again. Remember, this was the good news, good earnings, and I'm also in doing the same thing with UPS. You can see UPS. We played this for a couple weeks. It fired, came up here. Now this was the good news. It's filling the gap. So if you look at UPS and you look at FedEx, just look at the similar patterns, right? So what happened to FedEx after the good news? Well, you had to fill this gap, and you had to get the new buyers in for the profit takers on FedEx. And so I'm looking for the same thing on UPS. Same idea here. And I'll look just as a chart play, right, for this gap to fill and then to do a FedEx type move. But that's how I'm looking at FedEx. Marvel, we went over a little bit. Honestly, I could probably just copy a Knott's stuff on Marvel. Let me see. Let me move these a little bit closer. For those that weren't here for the session, to begin with, when we went over other people's charts, Knott's, he nailed it, and it's going to be very similar to what I'm doing. The numbers may be off by pennies, but it's the same general idea. I'll probably just copy and paste this chart into the watch list, if Anand's okay with that. Yeah, horizontal. I tell everybody, horizontal lines are my best friend. I love them. They're my best friend. So Marvel is the other one that I'm looking at now. ZS. ZS is a company that I'm long term in, and I'm long term down here in this general area, 50s, and so I like the company. So just know that I may have a little biasness on it because I like it. We've hit these lines, right? We've come down. We're starting to curl. We're making this little cut pattern, right? And so what I'm looking for here is for some resistance to start coming into this to give us an entry. It's starting a daily squeeze right here. It's not formed well at all, right? We're only 2 dots in, but I'm okay with that. What I would love to see happen is a pullback to this 136 area.
Oui, 1, 2.
I think Massimo, was that a question? No. So what I would love is for a pullback to this 136 area to start my position. That would not be my full size position. That would be my start, right? So that's the 21 EMA. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to watch this and see. Let me move this real quick. I'm going to see if what holds, if this area holds. I don't mind getting in off the 8, but I'm not gonna have an automatic buy. My automatic buy will be down here. If this holds in between this area, I'll probably go for it. I'll take it at that point. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Yeah, Paul, that's what that means, right? Let's see, 130. Yeah, so I got 137. I got 137.10. Yeah. Let me. I'll go through it again. So, Paul, to answer your question for everyone watching the video, Paul's question was, "Hey, UPS fired long. Does that mean it usually will go up?" Yes. Short answer: yes. Does it always work? No. What happens a lot of times is I'm trying to think of one that did it. What'll happen a lot of times, it'll try to fire up, and these will turn green, and then it'll fall back into the range, and then they'll turn back red, and so it'll be a rejected breakout. But yes, that's exactly what it means. When these fire, it means they're going in that direction. So if it would have fired down, it means it's going to continue down. It's fired up, so we look for continued up movement. And so I'm going to stay with this chart strictly on a technical analysis basis, that we have created this amazing flag here, right? So we've got this amazing flag, if we look at this weekly, that we just broke. And all we're doing now is back testing this flag. So I'm looking at, as far as a long-term, or not a TPS, just a chart play, a longer-term setup is that that firing pushes this stock higher. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Yeah, so ZS. So what I'm looking at on ZS, Anant, is I've got a buy in at this 136 area, right? So if this comes down to the 21 EMA and we get in between here at this 137.10 is what I've got for the 21 EMA. So if we can get a dip and pierce that, I'll get filled and I'll look for a bounce off of that. So that's my first automatic buy. It's already in. I'm good to go. It's, hey, this is what we're doing. So for me, it's do you see this volume profile area here? If you look, what I'm thinking will happen is if we get some selling pressure, I think we will. If we touch that 21, how much air is there between that 21 and the next volume profile level? So if you look, I can't keep the mouse put down, but if you look over here to the left of my screen, there, once you break 137.60, you're probably going to hit 136.52, right? That's where the next volume profile area comes in. And if you would look at that on a longer time frame chart, I would love it to look like a wick. So if I had to draw it, if we could get a daily candle that looked like this, I'm not a great artist, sorry. There you go. That's what I'm looking for, to catch that wick down. Now, the other thing that you said, Josh, why not the at 137? This is going to be one of the charts that's going to be on my screen at all times next week. And I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be seeing if this 15-minute chart starts to hold up, because the eight, right? What's the price of the 8? It's right here on this 139 area. That's the 8. So if we switch to a 15-minute chart and we start coming down and we're like, all right, we get a movement. Let's just say it does this. All right, we roll over. Well, actually, let's just say it. President Trump's health hasn't improved. He's actually on a ventilator, rut-row, and we gap to here. Well, if we do this or even do this, you know, and we're doing this and we're making higher lows and we're looking like we want to hold, I don't mind taking it off the 8, but I don't want to put an automatic. So I hope that makes sense for that. So the question of why the 15 and not the 5, for me, everybody's different, right? For me, when I am playing a chart like ZS, where I'm seeing if it's going to hold, a 5-minute chart, let me put it back on here. A 5-minute chart will give you a lot more of this. And so it may come down here and wick below and wick below and wick below. But when you wrap that up into a 15-minute chart, it's going to show you more of the story. I mean, it's the longer you go, right? That means the better the trend. So the shorter the time frames are easier to break, right? Shorter time frames are just easier to break. So if I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, I may think, all right, it looks like it's holding, but is it really holding? Yeah, exactly. What Anant said is all I'm saying is, so here I'll say Anant summed it up real good. Efren, I use the 30-minute because for me 15-minute is too much blood pressure variation. So you're being too myopic for this play, because what are we playing? Right? We're playing a daily. Now, 5-minute chart, it could break. It could look like this. It's breaking. You switch it to the 15. It looks a little bit better on the 30. It's like, okay, we get a better idea. And that's why the charts that I go through a lot, but on TPS plays, on longer time frames. Again, there's so many variations to how to charge time frames. Because on the when I'm scalping and when I'm farming, I look at the minute chart, minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. But on these type of plays, I'm looking at 15, hourly, you know, and then whatever time frame you're looking at. So that's how I'm going to be playing ZS. Does that clear everything up for you or not? Does that answer? SE is another one. Guys, we've been playing this one for, it was first put on the watch list right here at this 34, right? We were holding this 34 and we're like, man, I love this chart. It's going to start curling, and we've been getting paid and we love it. Now, the key here is we are starting to get back into all-time high territories, right? With the high short float. Yeah, that's what I use, right? I use 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute for scalping. And so the one thing I do not like is this candle. What candle is this, guys? What do we call this? What is this called? But to take positive note, look, we had this exact candle here, right? So you've got shooting star, you've got a shooting star, or yeah, inverse hammer. So if I get a dip to this area on SE, man, I'm loading up. I'll probably copy a knots. I don't know. I may mix the two, but man, a pullback to the 21 on this, I'm all about it. And a pullback to the 34, I'm even more all about it. Now, keep in mind, guys, that what you do with these charts, is it in a daily squeeze anymore? What are the squeezes we have on SE? Right now, the highest time frame squeeze we have is a 130, and it's only one dot in. So when you find a good chart, make sure that you stay on that chart, but you stick to your rules. You know how Nate will always say, I love it, I'm just waiting on a squeeze. What he's doing, the way he could rephrase that is, I love it, I just don't want to get faded to death. That's all he's saying. I love it, and I just don't want to get faded. And so, do you guys understand that when the squeeze starts to happen, that actually lowers the price of the options because the volatility has decreased. And so that way you can get better prices. So that's all he's doing. I'm not understanding what you're saying, Josh. Low comp on 4 hour, daily, and 2 day. Help me understand that, brother. Now match is my least favorite of all these guys. Oh, I got you. Low compressions. Thank you. So what Josh has just told us, I don't use the Squeeze Pro. Josh has the Squeeze Pro, and he's saying that there's low compression squeezes on the 4 hour, daily, and 2 day. All right, so match. This is my least favorite of them, but again, this fits the narrative of the. Let me pull up FinViz and make sure it still has. So you've got about 15% short float. So you've got a decent amount of size of short float in batch. And look what we just did on last week. This was good earnings. This was, hey, nobody can go out and date because of COVID. Everybody's getting on match. Now, we just broke over the volume profile and we are back testing. So what I do here is, I'm like, all right, we have proven that we've got buyers here. Let's figure out where the resistance is and the support. You can see this line right here is the biggest, right? This is your biggest resistance. And this line here and this line here, right? Here's your resistance points. Now, for me, where do I feel comfortable getting in match? Well, my first spot is exactly where it is, right here. This is a great risk reward for me. I don't want to change the chart real quick, but do you see the W pattern being formed here? Let me draw it a little thicker. And all we're doing here is we're W, right? And now we're back testing this neckline right here at the middle of the W. So technical analysis is telling us volume profile, bam, perfect buy opportunity, right? If it breaks, you've broken the neckline, you've gotten back underneath those, and it'll probably come back down to here. Okay. From August 5th. Let me check that out, Efron. Efren. So the point being for me is I think we've got I got it right. I got it right. I always call the way you pronounce Efren's name is with an N instead of an on. And I'm a white country hillbilly that's not good at English. And so I say Efron instead of Efren. So I think we've got a battle to get above these guys. It's going to give me a lot of farming opportunity. So I'm looking to try to farm this in between these levels and play the breakouts, right? So I'll sell the breakouts and I'll buy the retest. That's how I'll farm it. So ideally, what I'm looking at on match is, boom, boom, maybe put in a higher low, and then start to churn and eventually do that. That's what I'm looking for in this upward pattern. And for me, farming means sell the rips, buy the dips. Again, this is my least favorite, but I still like it. All right, it's been 27 minutes. So that's what I've got for TPS plays. NVIDIA. Now, AMD and NVIDIA, you guys know these are my charts. I told you guys on Friday, and I sent the text to my buddy. I said, hey, I'm selling against this line. So I don't know if you guys can see my camera, but he asked me where to sell puts. And I sent him a picture and I said, hey, I'm selling against those lines. Same thing I told you in the chat room. So next week I have 79s sold. I've got 79 sold, and it puts me at a cost basis of 78. I think 78. I think I got them for $1.25. So 77.75 would be my cost basis. So that means, for me, if AMD were to pull back next week to this area, would you be a buyer? My answer is yes. So that's why I sold the puts. So I sold down here, and I will continue to do so. If this pulls, let's say this pulls to this next week, I will be a seller of puts down here for another dollar credit, trying to get another dollar credit. The way that I play AMD is I continually sell puts and I continually sell calls. So DO, I'm in two different rooms. I have a Discord room that is it's an exclusive room. There's only about 20 of us in there. Everybody in there is a 7-figure trader, very advanced. We understand that nothing we say will influence the other one, so we're free to speak our ideas and disagree and agree and all of that. So there's no payment to get in or anything, but it's just a group of guys. The other room that I am in is it's a Raging Bull Elite service, and so are you in Raging Bull, D? Okay, yeah. So that's the other place I am. So yeah, no, the Discord room completely separate. That's just what I tell everybody, and what I'm trying to do with us here is to create a good group of good traders. So my idea is, hey, I'm training a knot. I want a knot to come into this Discord room with me, and I want to slowly start bringing in everybody. You know what I mean? Let's get everybody to get into this Discord room. The way you get into the Discord room is first thing is you become a 7-figure trader, and you prove that you have good ideas and that we can argue with you and it doesn't change your influence. So for example, a lot of people, they wait on alerts. If you're waiting on an alert, that means you're being influenced. That means you're not trading. Someone else is trading for you. So what benefit can you bring to the room? So what we do in that room is, hey, everybody bring your ideas and we're going to slap these things down and we're going to go through them. And we've got, here, I'll show you, we've got 1,000 different profit buckets in here where you can go, we've got earnings plays, swing small, long term, long term, swings long, small cap, swing short, small cap, strong offering, short squeeze, daily breakdown runners. So we come in and we put all these things in there and we go through them. I'm in the elite room. I come into the bullpen for Raging Bull. Yeah, exactly. So where Anant is right now is he's getting his process down. He's got his own process and he's becoming his own trader. Yeah, thanks for getting us back on track, Anant. So TPS, if we have time, let's look at it right now. So you'll notice Anant that Nike is on my favorites chart. You see how it's here on my favorites chart? This is because I love everything about this chart. I love it, right? We just had good news. So you're saying the 130 is what you're looking at. I mean, this is a beauty, right? I mean, this thing is just a beauty, absolute beauty. Putting in a higher low. Let's throw in the anchored VWAP. Now, you guys know, even though somebody explained to me why, if the majority of the candles are in this area, why is anchored VWAP so high? Why is anchored VWAP up here, even though the majority of the candles are here? Can anybody answer that? That's right. So what does that mean, right? That means this candle here. Do you see this volume on that candle? So this candle brought in this volume bar on the side. That is because of that. Now, you add up all these, right, and you start stacking them on top of each other, and you're getting more than this, but ultimately all this is being bought here, and so your next highest is here. And so you are still underwater if you bought on this day, right? That's why it's shaped the way it is. So yeah, no, I love this chart, and it's going to be on the watch list for sure. I haven't exactly decided how I'm going to get in. Set up 130 ERM flagging pattern, waiting for break and retest of anchor VWAP. Yeah, absolutely. So that number one play is an absolutely no-brainer play, right? The number two is, so for everybody at home watching the video, this is a Anant's play. Wait for the anchor VWAP. Absolutely. If this breaks up, comes back down, absolutely. If for some reason we do not, buy shorter dated options when it comes to the 123 area, lower Bollinger Bands. Yeah, no, I love it. You're exactly right, Anant. Throw this play on the sheet that Efren has for us as well, because I'll probably just copy this and paste it. So what Anant is saying is, if it pulls back to this trend line area, the volume profile support area, to get in for another attack at this anchor because what I'm guessing is going to happen is we will continue to attack this anchored VWAP until we cross above it, barring Trump getting the coronavirus and dying. Like we may do this and this and this, but we're eventually going to do this and then come back. When that happens, I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for. And it's the same for Anon. All right. Yeah, that's definitely there. How much time we got? All right, so we're good. Got through Nike. Now let me pull up. I don't want to waste time on anything that you guys. Beyond was a good news play that it's at all time. No, it's not. So it's breaking above these areas, right? I'm looking for Beyond to. The news was really good on Beyond. It was Walmart was expanding, I think, from 800 to 2,400 or something like that, which means the demand is there. So I'm waiting for a play that I like to set up. Right now, we're in a 78-minute squeeze. We are 1 dot in. So you go a little bit lower to the hourly. You could play this hourly chart if you wanted to. So I'm kind of just waiting on this, waiting for a play that I like. I don't think this would happen, but if we came back to this area, in this general area, I would definitely be a buyer. So anyway, Beyond's one. DraftKings, I'm keeping it on because I don't like talking about money because money is all apparent to size of your account. But I made a chunk of change on DraftKings. That's why it was my number one play last week. I mean, this thing, it was primed, and sure enough, it fired. So I'm leaving it on my favorites because I want to watch the price action. If we continue to squeeze and go, I'm not afraid to say, you know what, I sold too early. Let me try to find a place to get back in. FedEx, we talked about. 5N is another one that I'm just waiting. I'm waiting and watching. I like the chart. It's kind of, anyway, I'm just waiting and watching on that. This chart, guys, is amazing. I mean, look at this. Right? I love it. And so I'm waiting for a play on this one. Nike, we just talked about. Now, you guys know, is one of my favorite stocks that I'm long-term in. I love playing it. I play it all the time. And we have created this cup, right? So maybe we create a handle here, and it gives us an opportunity to get in on a dip somewhere to try to break for this top breakout. That's what I'm looking for on now. Now, Pepsi, I just want to run through this with you guys real quick. Pepsi actually had decent earnings, and they had a lot of numbers that they weren't expecting that went a lot higher than they were expecting. So what I'm looking at on Pepsi, I just want to see if this green line area can hold. If this can hold, then it'll be a play for me. The stats after the earnings report are not great. So this is just kind of a sit and watch and see what it does to see if it can set up for a push. Not very high on my list. Pins, same thing. It's just the overextensions, the Twitter pins, all of them, the charts look the same because they've just been going gangbuster. PayPal is another one that I like the chart. I like the concept, the COVID story to it. I'm waiting for a setup on it. RH is finally, this is one of Nate's favorites, is finally starting to get some legs to possibly push and break above. Now Square is definitely one of my favorite charts. It's the same idea that we just did with Now, right? Same thing, right? Boom, boom, break. We can get, and those that's pretty much all I wanted to go through. I still like Target from a Knott's watch list. Hope you guys nailed this. Knott put it on there, and it was wonderful. It was a beautiful play. Um, and this is another one that we got the 10 times play I'm putting on here because I want to see how it consolidates afterwards for those that hit this on Friday. All right, so now any other charts you guys want me to look at for TPS? Let me go through here because otherwise I'm just going to jump over to earnings. We made it to here. Thank you. So UNP, Esteban. Let's check out UNP. Union Pacific. So here's what I'm going to tell you with UNP, Esteban. For whatever reason, and I can't put a finger on it, I just haven't had success with railroads. And ask Nate about this. For some reason, Nate hasn't either. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. So yeah, it's it fits the mold. It fits the mold. It fits everything. It's coming on into this area of support. I stay away from railroads for that reason. I don't know. And seriously, ask Nate about it, Esteban. So just say, hey, yeah, I don't know what it is about railroads. You know, I don't have good luck with them. So Shaq for Paul. So Paul, just looking at this chart, what does this look like for you? What pattern do you see here? It's currently, I believe it's a Knott's favorite pattern. Right? So that's what we've got, right? So we've got a very bearish pattern being formed here. But I'm actually, I think I still have 500 shares of Shack. I don't have a very big position, but have you guys eaten at Shake Shack? I love it. So do you see how it broke the neckline and rejected? So what I do like about this chart, Paul, is we rejected the neckline breakdown on it. So yeah, I think you could take a shot at it. Just keep in mind what you're playing. And yeah, so what Anon is showing you is these people right here. Do you see all these people? So what I would do if you're looking to play this is farm it off of these people until it breaks. So you can play this range until it picks a direction because it's going to pick a direction. It's either going to break down this neckline or it's going to break up this out of these people. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So again, where's the bottom going to come in? I don't know. Just beware that you're playing a bearish pattern bullish, and it did reject the neckline. And so remember Kyle's knock, knock, knock rule. You know, if this continues to knock on this neckline, it will break. Somebody put in Amazon call towards Prime's Day. I love it. I love the idea. I'll probably be doing vertical put spreads plus calls on Amazon for Prime Day. And the same thing goes for the Apple, right? These are catalyst plays, right? For Apple, for their phone. So what I would love to see is just a dip. I'd love to see a dip on Monday so we can get in for these catalyst plays. Absolutely. Those will be on the watch list as well for catalyst plays. Somebody else asked about, I think I hit everyone. Oh wait, ZM. So here, this is what a Knott's play is on ZM. I'm going to copy that and post it in there because he's got it exactly right. There was just something, I forgot what it was that I told you about ZM. Yeah, so somebody's selling, right? You see these wicks, somebody's distributing in here. So what I think is going to happen, this little area, what I think is going to happen is it's going to do exactly what a knot does. Put in here, boom, boom, and we're going to break one way or the other, right? It's either going to break down or it's going to break up. And so for me, I would farm this range until we break one way and then buy the retest. All right. I think I got everybody else's. What time is it? All right, I got 15 minutes. What's Space's catalyst, Drago? I'm ignorant on this. I don't know what you're talking about, but I do love the chart. I know I think they got upgraded. What's the catalyst? Oh, they're going to launch them. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Here, let me write that down. I'll dig into that. Thank you. I love it. I love it when you guys are bringing these ideas in here. So for everybody watching the video, Virgin plans 4-hour test flights of Spaceship Two's carrier aircraft, White Knight 2, on October 1st and on October 7th. Oh, okay, great. So how'd the one on October 1st go? October 7th. All right. We made it to here. UPS, Cat, Esteban. Let's go. I'm gonna try to get to Cat, Neo. I'm gonna get to everybody else's questions after the video because I don't want the video going over. Now, guys, as far as earnings plays are concerned, I hope you guys are learning how I use these and how I play these. I'm gonna give you an example. Last week, NG has great stats after, but did you read the ER report? The ER report was talking about extra expenses, all these things that were negative. So what is that going to do to the stats? You see NG had a 92%, 75%, and 83%, and it had a 75% positive drift. So everything was telling you to take this long. But you got to read the earnings report, and it was saying you had extra expenses, you had this, you had that. And so it was like, stay away, don't touch it, because, quote unquote, the news, right, the earnings report, it trumps the stats. Okay, if everything was in line, then yeah, I would be doing this. So does everybody have access to this sheet? Here, let me create a new one. Efren, can you just, do you mind sharing your email? Do you mind if I send that in there, and then you can just send the link? Let me pull it from over here. So I think that link expires. What I'm doing is I'm doing week by week links. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to be a new link. Let's set the expiration date till the 10th. Apply. When you get that, Efren, can you just post that into chat? We're getting close on the final version of this sheet. You can see we change it up, we add some things. So for those, Paul has put us some filters in here to let us know. The legend's down here at the bottom. So if it's today, it's green. If it's one day, it's yellow. If it's 2 days, it's red. So what you'll notice is on the calendar up here, for 10/6, right? That is going to be Tuesday. It's saying this is 2 days, right? 10/5 is here. So once 10/5 rolls around, it'll turn green. And this allows you to say, hey, on 10/5, today's opportunities are hitting here, and you can go and see 2 weeks out and 1 week out. All right. So, guys, do you understand how I play the home tab, right? We put these in and we play against them and we play off of them. I'll be doing that for sure this week with these plays. But as far as stats wise, you really don't have a lot besides Troy, right? Helen of Troy. Um, you could play RPM the day of. You could play Domino's Pizza for the day of gap down as well. What I would tell you, if you do play the gap down, um, just be careful because Domino's Pizza is a COVID play, right? People are ordering food from home. Now, is it built into the chart? Probably. And to be honest with you, I don't like saying this on here because I don't want people to go in full blown and blow their account. I'm going to play this to the downside on the earnings, and whether that's by selling a vertical call spread at the pop or actually holding shares short through. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but this is a perfect case scenario. We're getting a push up with negative stats, and so I think a lot of this is priced in. And if you guys remember Netflix and Tesla, that's what all these are. These huge, you get the ER and then it pops back down. Now what can happen is Zoom, right? I mean, look what happened. Bam. So just be aware of that. But I will be playing this for the short side on day of. I just haven't decided yet. And then Helen of Troy has good stats. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to play this one through or not. Honestly, I don't know. Household personal products, those have been doing well, right? So I might just play it to the short side. To the long side, meaning sell a vertical put spread to this side and try to play it through. The way I determine that, guys, is I look at the implied move, which is here, and I compare it to the absolute average move, which is here. And Paul's going to set us up something to highlight. I think that's what he's done. I think he's already done that. So do you see these blue ones? Paul's already on it. So do you see how this blue one is saying it's a 5.8% move versus a 1.7% move? That means there's a lot of value in the premium. So they've priced the premiums. So for example, let me go down here to RPM. Huh, you haven't gotten it yet, huh? Try it again. Tell me if you haven't gotten it in a couple minutes, and I'll try it again. So what I can do is I come over here and I look at RPM, and it's saying, hey, it's pricing in an 8.4% move. And so what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll be like, all right, it's pricing in a 4% move. So what that does for an option strategy is you can basically put on an iron butterfly or short straddle it, which means you think it's going to stay within it. Wait. This is. You can short strangle it like this, meaning you're going to think it's going to stay in this range, kind of like, an iron condor, similar, but you have protections with an iron condor, or the straddle. So and that's like an iron butterfly. It's the same ideas. Those are the two plays that you can put on. For protection, you just use an iron condor or an iron butterfly. And you just think it's going to stay in those ranges. And you're basing that off of the historical data. And the other thing that you can do is you can come over and you can say, all right, RPM, let me look. And we say RPM, it's saying that the priced in move was 8%, 8.4%. Well, let's look and see if RPM has ever actually moved 8.4%. And you can see this price effect here, this column. I see 5.9, a 9.8 to the top side. So only once in its history has it gone above 8%, and that was to the top side. Never has it gone down to the bottom side. I'm comfortable taking that play. Does that make sense? So that's how I would play that. Now let's talk about one of the things I wanted to talk about in the last 5 minutes was this bank run. Banks tend to run into earnings. You can see where is 1020. Sorry, I'm looking for a ticker here. I don't have it in here. I'll have to add that. Here. Check out these stats. Right? I mean, you don't find better stats than that. And then check out the after stats, right? I mean, they're still good. Now, I played this last time, and I play bank run ups a lot. I rarely play the afters. So I'm looking at, JP Morgan, I'm looking at Goldman Sachs, and they all have great stats. You see, this is JP Morgan's. So, and if you look at Bank of America, it's in a pretty good position as well for these stats, right? Now, you can do some digging to figure out what happened here. They got in trouble, blah, blah. Banks get in trouble. What does that mean? They pay a fine and then they get bailed out by the government so they get their money back. Yeah, I mean, how crazy is that? But anyway, I will be playing the bank run-ups. Know this, I'm going to be playing multiples. If one fails, they're all most likely going to fail. So just if you're going to play that, just know that. You see this section here? There's a lot of good run-up section that I'm going to be getting into as well. To try to play these. This is again another one, right? Morgan Stanley here. Look at that. Those stats to play through. Now, keep in mind, guys, on this one, there's only 3 sample sizes, so I wouldn't take this. I'm not even going to play this. There's only 3 sample sizes. Do you guys have any questions about these earnings plays and what I'm going to do and how to play them and what I'm going to play through? Banks, I'm going to play through. ASML, I think I'm out of it. I took profits on it. Let's check out that chart. Peter brought this to my attention, and we nailed it. Yeah, that's why I was saying I would love a gap down on Monday or Tuesday and just come down here, freak everyone out, everyone close their positions, and allow the weak hands to be out and to go. And so that's ideally that would be perfect. Will that happen? Probably not. Paul says, on GS, are you planning on buying calls or selling put spreads? So for me, Paul, if I'm planning on, I do 2 things. Last time with the banks, I actually bought the shares and sold the calls, and so I did call buy rights. So you can play it however you want. For me, I'm not going to buy the shares this time. I'm going to buy options that retain their value, meaning they are going to be. So like if the let me find one that's a couple weeks. If the earnings is on October 12th, I'm going to buy options that expire after that date so that they hold their premium. But I'm going to sell it before the earnings come out. Like I never hold bought calls through. Unless it's like a super lotto one. I may buy like a Tesla 3000 or something, Those are just super lottos that I'll play. So yeah, I'll definitely be buying calls for sure. Most likely, well, honestly, I don't know about selling vertical puts. right now. I just don't know. But if you plan on getting out of them beforehand, you could buy the ones that expire before, but just know that they're not going to hold their premium as well as the ones that go through. All right. I think we're about in an hour, so I'm going to stop the recording. Anybody have any questions before I stop the recording?